15 eminent personalities who have contributed to FMIS have been recognized. Also, Dr. Lynn Olmston was honored by FMIS Trust after she received Nobel Prize. FMIS Trust implements all its activities through partners in a partnership mode, not in a consultative mode. And all the works that that is being contributed by the executive committee is on a voluntary basis. No one gets paid for that. We have also made every effort to make all our activities as transparent as possible. Everyone seeking further information of the FMIS Trust activities can easily access it through our website. The Kamala Medini Award instituted by Mr. Lavaraj Bhattrai in loving memory of his parents. So we are fortunate that we will be getting additional 25,000 rupees for that award.
Today, after some moment, a book named Trajectory of Farmers Managed Irrigation System is going to be honored. The book entitled Trajectory of Farmers Managed Irrigation System, edited by Prachanda Pradhan, Upendra Gautam, Navin Mangal Joshi of FMIST, is well organized and informative. This book has 17 sections starting from Introduction to Trajectory of FMIS. Each chapter is written by different expert authors from their past research experience. Introducing the book by Prachanda Pradhan, he attempts to characterize the farmers managed irrigation system as national heritage of Nepal. FMIS for him reflect the local knowledge, local skill, local technology. Keynote speeches by various irrigation professionals in this anthology present their valuable view, experiences of different parts of the world. It aids the importance of this book by representing cross-boundary and cross-continental knowledge and experiences. This is another beauty of the book. FMIS and technology deal by Lucas Horst mentioned about two types of technology for FMIS and AMIS. Another paper shows about how farmers managed irrigation system build social capital to outperform agency managed systems that rely primarily on physical capital by Nobel Prize winner Elinor Ostrom discussed about collaborative research and database with Nepal irrigation institution and systems, and utilizing the software aspect of software for improving irrigation management by Norman Ophoff realizes the importance of participatory irrigation management, the country as a common good. It does recognize that those who work to develop an irrigation system have the first right to use the water. Familiar, but that informed the discussion by E. Walter Coward Jr. defines about landscape and ecology of irrigation. Dealt by Charles Lindsay Abernathy mentioned that programs of irrigation management transfer are initiated by governments. It is the governments that decide to do it.
Going to release the book Trajectory of FMIS, and to do the honor, I would like to request
So far, the country has seen economic growth of about 4% over the past 10 years. And the critical challenge now is to make this 4% annual growth to 8 to 9 or even double-digit growth. And for that requires what is so-called structural transformation, meaning that the country's economic growth has been driven mostly by services sector in the past. And in order to make it from 4 to 9 requires a substantial growth in prosperity in the real productive sectors, including agriculture. And agriculture really needs to add value, much higher value, and also generate more employment. And in that context, the role of farmer-managed irrigation systems has to play to make it happen is quite critical. And the country cannot achieve the high economic growth without agricultural being the very important sector, still 35% of GDP. So manufacturing growth is essential, but also agricultural productivity growth and employment generation is very critical. And I hope that this conference can provide good recommendations. Preparing a new irrigation act, and wherein the government set out new strategies and directions for the irrigation sector, not only FMIS but AMIS and all the new innovations and major investments. At the same time, we know that the new hydropower investment boom is forthcoming, within which the country requires a sound water management, regulatory and coordination framework. So in that sense, a lot of activities and policy reforms programs are forthcoming, and I hope that this seminar is having a very great opportunity to provide practical recommendations how the new policies and programs should be formulated, and we are really glad to see, we hope to see productive outputs from this conference, and I believe that this book that is launched now can provide essential building block.
Next, we have announcement of FMIS Promotion Trust Icon of Honor 2015. Now, may I request Dr. Luna Bharati from EMI to give introduction of our Icon of Honor 2015.
She leads multi-country action research in Africa and Asia on community-driven water service delivery and water laws and policy reform, also from a gender and human perspective. She is lead author and editor of 5 books and co-author of over 100 international peer-reviewed publications. Based on his field-level research and advisory work, he has published nearly a dozen books and over 90 research-cum-advisory papers, some of which have been reprinted in books by different parties. Dr. Prashant Pradhan. Dr. Prashant Pradhan was born in March 1939 in Nepal. He was engaged in teaching and research in Tribhuvan University, Nepal, until 1980. He was a research associate at the John Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University in 1972 and a Fulbright visiting professor at the Center for International Studies at Cornell University in 1979, as well as visiting scholar at a workshop in political theory and political analysis at Indiana University, USA in 2002. He has been working for the last 35 years to promote the knowledge and understanding about farmer-managed irrigation systems in Nepal and elsewhere. He has experiences working in many Asian and African countries. He worked with IMI, World Bank, ADB, ZTZ, INWENT Germany, IFAD, and FAO. He has several books and papers to his credit. His last collaborative book was with Professor Eleanor Ornstrom, Nobel laureate, titled Improving Asian Irrigations, which was published from the UK. Thank you.
I have the honor to read out the communication to given water services. Outstanding and considerable contribution in communicating and promoting micro-level approaches on communities group action, knowledge, livelihood, in recognition to his outstanding contribution in exploring, establishing and promoting knowledge, as well as dedicating of self-governing farm management organizations.
express how touched I am by this opportunity and this honor from your side. And thanks very much. And to celebrate this opportunity, I want to share seven messages of good news. Communicate and share the good news that FMIST and the attention for the villagers, the community members, the farmers, the attention for that goes even much wider than what FMIST has been doing up till now. And that's what I would like to share with you. We talk about the crops that are coming out of the farmer-managed irrigation systems. But as Bob Yoder, another icon and hero for me, has said already in 1983, there are many more benefits. Or irrigation canals or storage also provides water for livestock, for poultry, for domestic uses, for fisheries, for small-scale enterprises. Communities would say we combine the use and the reuse of multiple sources. And communities say we prefer multi-use infrastructure. Why would we make one system for domestic uses and one system for irrigation if it's for the same people almost at the same place? So multi-purpose infrastructure is the norm. And single-use, maybe single-use groundwater pumps in a distant field, but these are exceptions. So the community's water wisdom is simple: multiple uses, multiple sources, and preferably multi-use infrastructure as the norm and single-use infrastructure as the exception. So basically we now go to the community to depict the community and its layout, its land use planning. Where are the fields, where are the houses, and they are all together, they are really interconnected. For communities, they realize Pani is Pani and use the domestic and the productive water uses according to their own priorities. With drinking water generally a quite high priority. And for communities, only 3 liters per person, 5 liters per person per day really needs to be clean for drinking or for cooking or for ghee making, yogurt making. There are a few uses that really need a very high quality. But for latrines or for washing clothes, one doesn't need the high quality that the domestic sector promotes. And even if there is a domestic supply, as here in Mandarakola, the people still go to a little trickle, which is sweet and nicer water.
I would like to call upon Dr. Narpa Singh Joda for his keynote speech.
First of all, I am grateful to dignitaries sitting on both sides of the dais. I knew this institute and individuals quite meeting them quite often and was very much impressed. 40 Indian states, which are, many of them are as different countries. And through that I learned a lot of things. When my first publication on common property resources was out, at least 4 known organizations like World Bank, the FAO, ICIMOD, and Institute of Economic Growth in Delhi, they said, why don't you join us? But I always was scared of big institutions. And finally, I opted for ICIMOD. But rather than putting me as somebody to work on commons, they put me as head of the Division of Farming Systems. The focus is on what science and donors and global agencies do. We focus on that, whereas reality is that we should learn something from this and integrate that. So those are challenges, and hopefully our collective work will help in that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Director General of Department of Irrigation, and then Country Director, Dr. Yokohama, and my colleagues, fellows over here. I am really overwhelmed with the type of honor bestowed upon me by FMIST today. I would think this honor is a kind of contribution of many people to me. Therefore, I would like to mention some of them. I started working in irrigation sector back in 1935 when I went to Cornell University as visiting professor. That time, I did not have any clue about irrigation and irrigation management. And one of our previous icons of FMIST, Dr. Robert Yoder, who is here, he was preparing for his PhD fieldwork, and I happened to meet him there. And that is the starting point for me to look at irrigation system from social science perspective. So I would like to recognize him as one of the contributors for me to be in this position. Secondly, Department of Irrigation has been all the time very helpful to me whenever I do any kind of field work in any system under them. They are very open and they give me all kind of support, both in Department of Irrigation at the headquarters as well as in the field. Just about a month ago, I was in the field making a tour of number of irrigation systems, and that time I got so much support from the district offices, IDD, and that was very helpful to me to complete my work. And lastly, but not least, I would like to mention my family contribution as well. While I was in the field or while I was in the mission, my wife had to take care of the children and guide them through the education and all those kinds of things. And I take this as contribution of my wife as well as my children. With these notes, I would like to start the theme that I would like to propose over here is why focus on small-scale irrigation system? If I ask someone to show me irrigation system in a country, the natural response would be to take me to a large irrigation system with well-built intake, lined canals, and many concrete structures for water control and water distribution. Hardly many people even notice about the existence of numerous small-scale irrigation systems. They are usually owned and managed by voiceless people. The segment of the people are either poor, marginal farmers without capacity to lobby in the decision-making process. While I was in Chitral about 30 years ago of Pakistan, in collecting information on small-scale irrigation system, I told to one of the district irrigation officers that Chitral has many interesting small-scale irrigation systems. He responded to me that there are no irrigation systems, but they have only pools from Darya. I got surprised and started thinking, why this man cannot see what I can see in Chitral? Those irrigation systems scheduled through vertical cliffs to convey water to the farmlands, distribution boxes for water distribution based on water right, and later on that becomes basis for resource mobilization for operation and maintenance. For that Pakistani officer, his school taught him about large irrigation system of Sindh and Punjab. So they are the only irrigation system for him. Dr. Lucas Horst identified deficiency in engineering curriculum not to include the farmer-managed irrigation system of different sizes and different kinds. The share of small-scale irrigation system, including all types of technologies adopted, has substantial coverage in the world, providing livelihood support to large number of agricultural population. In South Asia, they are greatly contributing in Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, Chitral, Punjab area of northern Pakistan and Afghanistan. From the Middle East, Yemen could be cited here. African countries like Tanzania, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Niger, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia have substantial number of small-scale irrigation systems. In South America, especially Andean mountain countries, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, and others have small-scale irrigation systems with great contribution to the livelihood of the local people. In China, southwestern province of Sichuan, small-scale irrigation work as a means for conservation and use of water at the local level. Northern Thailand, Lao PDR, northern Vietnam have substantial number of small-scale irrigation systems. These systems are either built by the community of users or by local government unit or a lineage of landowner cultivator close to the water source or by the individual households. In countries like Nepal and Bangladesh, small-scale irrigation systems hold a significant share in irrigated agriculture area. Same thing would be said about their contribution to local food security and gainful employment. As such, small irrigation is not small at all in terms of their local impact on national economy, agrarian relation, ecological adaptability, and resilience. There are thousands of small-scale irrigation systems ranging between 1 hectare to less than 25 hectares in the middle hills and mountains of Nepal, supporting the livelihood of millions of people. So is the case in many other countries as well. While looking at the scenario in Nepal, small irrigation system less than 25 hectares are identified by Nepal irrigation policy, and number of small micro irrigation systems as promoted by NGOs, government departments like DODIDA, DOA, DOI, etc. They are not recognized systems, yet they support livelihood of millions of those farmers. Openings are made now through more of technology-intensive system. To reach there with the sophisticated technology where the marginal people live has become a big challenge. Linking innovative technology affordable to these resourceless people with the credit organization supporting institutions for implementation of those pro-marginal farmer programs usually in those remote and with difficult access to market is a big challenge, yet we need to address their problem. So many technologies are available in the market. How can we make these technologies easily accessible to them? These questions seek answer in future policy toward small and micro irrigation systems, adoption of new and sophisticated technologies, what kind of institutional support both at the government and at the NGO level. What will be the subsidy policy resulting into the self-supporting program versus dependency promotion program. There is need to rethink about the small-scale irrigation policy in Nepal. Institutional reforms of irrigation development agencies should imbibe the new values of socio-economic change of inclusiveness, gender concern, self-governing local water institutions, promotion of self-supporting institutions, and poverty alleviation. Community engagement during intervention through project preparation to implementation and operation and maintenance has to be prime concern in the implementation of small-scale irrigation development program. Since many agencies have been providing assistance to small-scale irrigation, there has not been uniform, consistent policy on the intervention. Hence, it might be appropriate to Nepal to think of establishment of a Department of Small-Scale Irrigation Development under the Ministry of Irrigation and made in charge of overall consistent policy, not only implementation policy, and creating a cadre of manpower who can understand the dynamics of small-scale irrigation system. Investment in small-scale irrigation development is a major issue. It might be appropriate to consider in establishing a fund board where the users of the irrigation system on the basis of need can request for the grant and loan for the new construction, rehabilitation, and improvement of small-scale irrigation system. I thank you all. Thank you.
distinguished chairperson of this international seminar, Mr. Joshi, very distinguished personalities that are with us in the dais, and ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to express my deep appreciation for giving me this opportunity to be with you this morning and benefit from your deliberations in the area of irrigation systems in Nepal and elsewhere. The development experience a country like Nepal has gone through, including almost all developing countries of the world, whether Asia, Africa, or Latin America, confront problems of poverty on the one hand and problems of inclusiveness in development on the other. Even countries which have achieved good economic growth rates and have done marvelously well in terms of general economic situation, it is found that a major segment of the population is deprived of the opportunities and are isolated from the mainstream of development process. Despite the fact that they form the core of agriculture system, they are marginalized and problems overlooked, their problems really overlooked. We must be careful in not assuming that one size fits all kind of recommendation.
Mr. Kenichi Yokoyama, icon of 2010. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Kenichi Yokoyama for providing, despite his very busy schedule, for launching the pre-seminar book and heartily support financially for this international seminar of FMIST through ADB. The support from fellow involved in the ADB Manila as well as Nepal Residence Mission is remarkable. Similar thanks goes to Director General Mr. Madhav Bilbase as well as ex-Director General Mr. Shiv Kumar Sharma for accepting our request for joining Department of Irrigation as co-organizer of this seminar. Further thanks goes to Dr. Luna Bharati for her support through International Management Institute. We cannot forget the participation with big heart from Society of Irrigation Engineers Nepal, IIT Roorkee Alumni Association Nepal Chapter, International Network for Participatory Irrigation Management Nepal, Society of Hydrology Meteorology. Hope such participation from different organizations definitely shows the value given to the farmers managed irrigation systems in the present days. Thanks goes to all these organizations. Our patron, Dr. Prachanda Pran, accepted with reservation for honoring in this seminar, though he is definitely a key person. His guidance in FMIST and networking for farmers managed irrigation system worldwide is remarkable. All the friends of FMIST need to give value of his contribution. I think we should not be late in this matter. Further, similar thanks go to Dr. Narpat Singh Choda and Dr. Barbara Venkupan for accepting our request and contributing to keynote speeches in this seminar. We once more congratulate Honorable these three icons. I request all friends of FMIST to give a big hand to this honorable